Now, to understand why complementary currencies make sense, you have to understand how money actually works. Money has three different main functions. It's a means of exchange. It's a way of us changing goods and services with each other so that we get around that problem of having to fight of barter, where you need a double coincidence of wants. Money is also a unit of account. It's a way of us all knowing what the value of something is, so that we don't have any confusion when we are exchanging and when we are trading. That unit of account function is problematic in today's society, where we have inflation as a constant problem. We know that if we leave our money in the bank and it's only earning 1% or 0.5% interest, and house prices are shooting up, that money as a unit of account and as a store of value, which is the third function of money, it's not working for us. So one option is to have different kinds of money that split up these three functions. So you can have money as a means of exchange. That can be one kind of money. That could be coins or notes. You can have money as a store of value, which could be gold. Historically has been gold, which tends not to lose its value over time. Other alternatives might be energy, kilowatt hours. We all know we're going to be needing energy, forever, and it's going to get more and more and more expensive. So if we back our value, our wealth with energy, it won't lose its value, and there's lots of interesting developments in that area as well. I'm going to talk about money as a means of exchange initially, and the transition currencies, one of which is the Brixton Pound. The Brixton Pound is backed one-to-one with sterling, so it's not decoupled from sterling. However, it can't be put in the bank. You can't use it as a store of value. So it has a positive effect, because it's really money as a means of exchange. Once you get a Brixton Pound, the only thing you can do with it is carry on spending it into circulation. Now what this does is it creates demand. We've designed the Brixton Pound so that it can only be used by local independent businesses in Brixton. Local independent businesses tend to employ more local people. They tend to have local accountants. They tend to have local suppliers. They tend to use local facilities. So they keep money circulating locally. If you look at the high street in Brixton, there are hardly any independent businesses left. You've got your Tesco's, you've got your WH Smith, you've got your big chain companies. And the way sterling works is it supports these businesses that have bigger economies of scale and that can squeeze the life out of our small independent businesses that make our high streets interesting and diverse. So the Brixton Pound is money as a means of exchange to help local independent businesses. If any of you live locally, I really encourage you to find out more about that. But there's some other examples there of other local currencies. One is a Lewis pound. It's a similar model to the Brixton Pound in Sussex. There's also an example from America there called the Berkshire, which is a very successful local currency with about $1 million in circulation. That's in Massachusetts, in Berkshire. And there's also a thing there called a time credit, which is based on the idea that many of the skills and the assets we have are not valued by the market economy. Our ability to care for people, our ability to look after children or old people, our ability to campaign for social justice or environmental sustainability, like you're all doing today. The market doesn't value that. And that can be a problem, because it means that these things like looking after children are not valued. And because we're in this debt-based economy where we have to earn more and more money to pay off our mortgages and all our other debts, we have less time for that kind of what we call core economy work. So time banking and time credits is a system where 1 hour of time is worth 1 credit, whoever you are. So it's a kind of way of equalising people's value. And that's been a very effective system in poorer communities with high levels of unemployment, where people are shut out of the market. So you can have a look at that note as well. What we've seen, as I've said, over the last 50 years is the banks, the commercial banks, the private banks, taking advantage of this kind of innovation, especially this digital innovation, whereby money isn't really a thing anymore in your hand. It's just a figure in on a computer screen, and it flows all around the world faster and faster and faster. My challenge to you is, how can we make this kind of innovation also apply to currencies and monetary systems that create social, economic and environmental well-being? And that's what we're trying to do with the next phase of the Brixton Pound and the transition currencies. Our plan is to create currencies that you can use on your mobile phone. As they do in Kenya today, farmers are using mobile phone to make payments, saving them thousands of pounds and supporting their local economies. How can we do that with social currencies or social money?